Yeah! Well, now that the gavel's calling, let's get this session started. Hey folks, grab a seat. It's time to get the scoop. Bakers in session serving justice with a whoop. From sunny Cali courts to the heartland's dusty halls, we'll spin the yarns of trials big and small. Oh, Baker in session, tales old and brand new. Some make you laugh, some will leave you in a stew. Gavels dropping beats, witnesses take the stand. Join the fun, y'all, across this great land. Hey. Classic papers like OJ or that moonshine bust. Fresh headlines steaming hot. In Baker we trust. Murder in the Midwest, scams down south so sly. We'll break it down with grins, no need to cry. East Coast embezzlers, West Coast wild rides. Supreme Court showdowns where the big shots collide. From petty thefts to plots that twist and turn, Baker's got the stories that'll make you learn and burn. Oh, Baker in session, tales old and brand new. Some make you laugh, some will leave you in a stew. Gavels dropping beats, witnesses take the stand. Join the fun, y'all, across this great land. Famous folks in hot seats, underdogs who win. We'll cheer the verdicts, dive right in. Coast to coast adventures in the name of the law. Baker's here to share it without a single flaw. Hit subscribe, don't miss the legal ride. Baker in session where the laughs collide. Hey, how we roll.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whatever. And what did I say? Well, it's been a long day. My day started at 2:45, I think. And yeah. And Big Dog, sorry, just as I ended my night stream, you had a super chat come through. So I didn't read it, but you will still be going on the board. I'm so sorry, but it is a part of your payment plan for making Arizona a state one more time. So I hope it's okay, buddy. But I was just in the middle of the outro and I saw it pop in, and I thought, no, I was a little bit heated when I ended, so I didn't want to go back. But thank you still so very much. And M Spire says, why did the Danish baker get arrested? He was caught beating the eggs and whipping the cream. That's kind of setting the mood for the day. Yes, I was a little bit late, but that's because I set my watch to, or my alarm to go off an hour ago. I don't know. I've been sleeping through it. I must have needed it, but yeah. Hey, Miss Garbage Brain, and welcome. You made a live for once. You're not late this time. Oh, you can't stay. Okay. I see how it is. Don't. It's because she wrote something for the morning stream. Cock a doodle doo. And you as well. I'm not a fed. I must never sleep. Well, I do sleep. I just do it in stupid increments all over the place. Last night I did like a 2 hour and a 2.5 hour, and then I have done 3 hours this afternoon. So there's a reason why I look like I am 28 years old. But I hope everyone is doing well. A lot of you probably were up late. I had a stream at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and a lot of people was probably watching Aiden's stream. That was I think 5-hour stream. That was a long Long stream. But I think he needed it out. And as I said on the tweet, people need to stop. If it's not your bed, stop worrying about who is sleeping in it. And to all the people who have your burner accounts who come and tell me, well, Aiden is an asshole. At least have one. Well, one had 2 followers, and one of them is a YouTube creator who is very anti Aiden. It's almost like it's a burner account. No other comments than, well, Aiden is a bad guy. Yeah, but still, go back and watch my morning stream. Well, thank you, Dadra. Baker looks like he's been rolled up and smoked. I do feel like a ham. But what I wanted to do, because the other day I was reading the Cosgrove response. That was Friday. I read the Cosgrove. No, that wasn't Friday. That was Wednesday. I read the Cosgrove response to the better row motion. And then I saw that I think Melanie and was it brother counsel or someone else was reading some affidavits that apparently was attached to it, but it wasn't attached to the one I found. Luckily, the Wonder Mods found it for me, so I thought we should be reading that. This one we will find out. Krusty is not Krusty. Has been a lot of speculation that Krusty was staking out Aiden's house and surveilling him till the Popo came, but this affidavit very convincingly will show you that it's not Krusty. On the other hand, as you know, I am launching my new Smexual toy line with bomb paddles, the Baker Baddies. So I need to raise some capital. If you want to buy a slightly used Brooklyn Bridge, I can sell you that for a discount if you believe that Krusty Panties isn't KP mentioned in these motions. Has anyone done Baker in a baby face yet? I think my mom and dad made me a baby face once. I can't remember. Hey, Louise P. How are you doing? But I think everyone's here. How much to ship it to me? Well, you will have to do some deconstruction yourself. That's because there's a very, very low price. So I'll only sell you it for the scrap metal value. You can also put up some toll booths and maybe make some money that way. You'll find out with the city of New York. Everything is 100% above the board. Hey, Dasser. Cuter than Betero. No one can miss me because I am here constantly. People should be sick of me. This is my 5th stream within 48 hours. Plus all the chats I'm in. So, Christine, I appreciate it, but no one is missing the Baker. He is everywhere. This is the motion in question. The Commonwealth v. Turtleboy. This case is specially assigned to Judge Belezos, and it's an appendix to Commonwealth's memorandum in opposition to Attorney Bettero's affidavit in support of motion and associated submissions. I know someone who likes a submissive. And look, the stamp is inverted. I have no competition. The internet is full of competition. I'm the voice of reason. No, I'm just an old fart who's been through too been through too much shit in my own life that I really need to go and get into everyone else's business. And all of you should do the same. I know it's fun and sitting there and hoo, let's make someone the bad guy. Let's just let's try not to. That's all I'm saying. Affidavit of Lieutenant Brian Tully. Marissa didn't do her homework because she had 2 million people as guests at her house, because that's normal. It's not a party if you don't have to rent a hall. Well, then I don't need parties. Well, see, Shep, I enjoy you enjoying me. Giggity. It's Big Earl. Good morning to everyone. And I'm just going to stop it there because good morning to everyone. I'm pretty sure the other one isn't there. It is very junior high, but just like in junior high, you have the cool kids with the Letterman jackets sitting over in the corner, the ones who, anyone below the age of 20 earmuffs. You remember those who was out by the bike shed smoking cigarettes, and everyone thought they were so cool because they had their leather jackets, knockoff leather, but still, and they were sitting over in the corner, and everyone thought, "Oh man, I want to be one of those." That's our club. The rest, all the cheerleaders and the jocks and the nerds, we don't care. We are the rockers. We're just sitting over here. We bummed some cigarette. Well, we stole them from our parents because we don't have any money, but we too cool for school. That's us. Jimmy can have all his classes he wants. We are the kids who we skip class and go behind the bike shed and. So, did you hear the new one? Mm. Yeah, I got to first base yesterday. That's us. Affidavit of Lieutenant Brian Tully, the man who is in every single case in the Commonwealth, but apparently has nothing to do with anything. At the time of the initiation of the investigation of Aiden Turtleboy in May-June of 2023 for intimidation of witnesses in Commonwealth v. Karen Reed, I was the commanding officer of the Norfolk County District Attorney's State Police Detective Unit, SPDU. About 6 months into that investigation in September, District Attorney Morrissey engaged Anthony. Why am I making it Anthony every time? Attorney Kenneth Mello, a special prosecutor for Kearney matters. I have reviewed that what is captioned as an affirmative in support of Sorry, we're starting over. I have reviewed what is captioned as an affidavit in support of motion submitted by attorney Mike Betterow, ostensibly in support of a motion to dismiss indictments pending against Kearney on various grounds, or in the alternative for an evidentiary hearing prefatory to any ruling on that motion. And I have also reviewed various materials submitted by Mr. Betterow in support of his motion. I submit this affidavit in opposition to the motion. In 29 of Betterow's affidavit, BA, the defendant complains that the grand jury was never asked to return an indictment after receiving evidence of an illegal wiretapping of Stephen Scanlon, and suggests that the presentation of such evidence was part of a nefarious scheme to dirty up the defendant. It was in fact the intention to later present further testimony by Mr. Scanlon, but concern arose as to whether a Norfolk County grand jury had appropriate jurisdiction to bring that particular indictment, Mr. Scanlon having been in Suffolk County at the time. So further presentation was held in abeyance while that issue was considered, a situation that extended through the natural expiration of the then sitting grand jury. So we didn't put it in there to dirty up the works. We just, in the middle of it, after we had started presenting it, got a feeling that maybe this wasn't the right venue. So we had presented it, but it wasn't to dirty up the works. That's what it's about, because it has nothing to do trying to dirty it up. It was just because they had done all of this investigation and then they go to the grand jury, and in the middle of it, they say, "Oh my God, is he in Suffolk, not Norfolk County?" And we just presented it to make Aiden look more guilty. Our mistake. Yeah. Marissa, stay off the turkey and the meth. You had a bowel movement? Why is Marissa being told about other people's bowel movements? That's weird. The defendant raises various issues about my role in presentation to the grand jury of relevant video excerpts from his online presentations that were played for the grand jury, with two exceptions: the Scanlan video and the before and after cartoony videos, wherein the Commonwealth alleged that the defendant altered the original video to evade wiretapping charges. All of the video excerpts were found by me online. As previously noted, the Scanlan video has not resulted in an indictment, and the relevant cartoony indictment, I am told, was on or about October 22nd, null pro sequa by the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. Mr. Mello is not electronically sophisticated and was not familiar with the audiovisual technology in the grand jury room, and therefore he tasked me with playing the video excerpts entered into evidence for the grand jury. I had operated that equipment during witness testimony on previous cases. Calling him not electronically sophisticated is another way to say he's a boomer. To facilitate my finding the correct videos at the appropriate time, I grouped them into electronic folders by alleged victim or topic, and I named the videos to accurately describe their content, often using the exact relevant phrase spoken by the defendant. In BA 36, the defendant misleadingly represents that I apparently edited and renamed various of the defendant's videos, and falsely alleges that Special Prosecutor Mello and I used this altered evidence to mislead the grand jury as to the defendant's intent. My alleged editing consisted of selecting relevant excerpts from the defendant's online presentation and presenting those excerpts in full. If one of Carney's online presentations ran, for example, 2.5 hours and covered various topics, I chose the statement that the Commonwealth believed was relevant evidence. And again, I talked about this when we then read the reply from Cosgrove. You edited it the second you took it out of context, and you put it in a folder called intent. So every time you opened something up, I wasn't in the grand jury room, I am pretty sure they saw the folder called intent, and then you went in and opened Aiden threatens Jen McCabe. That's the file I'm going to open now. You can find it later, called Aiden threatens Jen McCabe. By doing that, you are dirtying the jury. There's no ifs, buts about it. It should have a generic name, because the second you start to put in an evaluation of what the evidence show, you have taken away the jury's role. The jury is the fact finders in a case. So this should have been, to make this as fair as possible. First of all, you should never ever show the folders or the file names on a screen. If you do that, you have evidence, video clips, live show. Then you have your own checklist that exhibit A That's Jen McCabe is being called a nasty horse-faced cunt machine who should run into the sun and burn in hell. Okay, I just have it listed as Exhibit A. You don't give them that title that you believe is in it. Then you show it to them, and then they can find if Aiden harassed anyone. You didn't. So, first of all, just cutting it out of context is altering the content in the first place. Second of all, you naming it so you could easily find it. If the grand jury saw just one of those headlines, you have tainted the grand jury procedure, in my opinion. I forgot ants. I'm sorry. Brian Tully, shameless and also dangerous, a lieutenant on the state police and was working as career criminal Michael Morrissey's right-hand man. He's the guy who is in every case. Everyone is always talking about who you want on the stand with the spotlight right in their face. Brian Tully. Brian Tully is the man. As to the claim that the Commonwealth tried to mislead the grand jury as to his intent, I note that the Beddoe affidavit makes no attempt whatsoever, much less an attempt supported by evidence, to describe the defendant's actual intent. But they don't need to. You have to prove the facts you put in front of the grand jury. You're the one claiming he had intent. You don't go to the grand jury and say, well, he killed his wife. Can you prove it? Can he disprove it? Mark Beddoe wasn't in the room with the grand jury because that's the corrupt proceedings you have in the Americas, where one side gets to produce all of their evidence and then wonder 90-something% of the time the grand jury sides with the side who is in the courtroom. Demanding Beddoe removing intent or approving intent is stupid. Aiden Carney's intent was to cover the McAlberts, who he had a very ill opinion of. No ifs or buts about it. But you can't just infer that means, well, he had another intent. So, no, he must have had the intent we claimed, or they have to prove it. Can't just do that. I wish they would call her Krusty in her court filings. I think she was mentioned in one of the filings as Kate Krusty Pants, or maybe it was in one of the civil suit or the other suits against her. I've seen some official piece of paper where she's called Krusty. Hey, take it to trial. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Good to see you. Didn't Krusty say she changed the name? Now he's saying he changed them. So who's lying? Well, this is why you need to buy a small Brooklyn Bridge off of me for discount prices. Because this is rewriting history. Krusty has now nothing to do with anything. Krusty was just it's just a quink. She was just a concerned citizen who sent some emails that no one looked at. That's all it was. And thank you so much to Take It to Trial for becoming a member. You now have no special things other than the Sue Bird, and I'm too dumb to make members only content. I know everyone should be doing it because YouTube really likes it, but I'm just an idiot and a bad grifter. But thank you so much. And you can also go, if you want to, and follow Take It to Trial. They cover a lot of interesting topics as well as we do. I think it was maybe it was something about called something or mentioned ass or something. I remember I was laughing my ass off because it was official. We know this because this is what Krusty herself has been saying. But now, because They hid the evidence sent to them by Krusty. They have to make it up that she had nothing to do with it. It's pure shitty. Thank you, Take It to Trial, for a hippo character throwing a blazing uppercut into the air while the word KO appears in the background. I can't see who sends rumble rams, but I can see descriptions of super stickers. But thank you so much. The defendant was more candid in speaking to his online audience in describing his intent. Consider, for example, in an 83223 presentation. I'm pretty sure there's a zero missing right here. So it'd be the 30th of August 2023. Presentation of Carney's record of himself addressing people with a bullhorn and saying, "We are trying to affect the jury pool." Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. In what content? What context? This, yeah, that indicates he wants to affect the jury pool. Yes, but did he say, "Oh, and the police claim that we are trying to affect the jury pool"? Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Yeah. Is that what he said in the video? Or did he say, "I'm out here, I'm going to get to Paula, who I don't know is going to be a juror in the second trial because it's going to be a mistrial the first time, and I'm going to get to her. That's my mission, to plant someone on the jury who Brennan is too dumb to find out is a plant." This, again, it's taken out of context. We don't know the context of this statement. What was played for the grand jury were the defendant's exact words and the defendant's exact images. There was no attempt to mislead. Again, take anything out of context, it's misleading. Just like, no, I'm not going to get into what happened last night. There was no attempt to mislead, and neither was there any need or desire to do so. Trust me, bro, there was. To the extent I may have mentioned the titles I assigned the video selections. It was to create a clear record as to which excerpt the grand jury was viewing at that particular time, and as noted, the titles I assigned were almost invariably taken from the words of the defendant himself spoke in the relevant video. During the course of the investigation into Carney's behavior, various individuals contacted myself, some of the Norfolk DASPAC members, the special prosecutor, and others to complain about specific online presentations or other acts by the defendants. One such person was Catherine Kate Peters. Whom I learned was a rival online personality, shitty personality, who shared a mutual dislike with the defendant, and from time to time would send me links to various of his presentations. I was not aware of Ms. Peters' 2022 YouTube copyright dispute with Mr. Carney, or his alleged use in that dispute, of a federal civil complaint described in the Better Row affidavit. He didn't. He wasn't alleged to have used. Am I reading this wrong? Is it because I didn't sleep enough, or his alleged use in either Krusty is a transgender. I've seen her in the wild. There's a high likelihood she's a transgender manatee, but it's her alleged use in that dispute of a. And it's not alleged, it's proven. She has admitted that she used a forged federal civil complaint. Why is what? Am I getting this wrong? Well, I never viewed the November 20th, 2022 interview with Miss Peter, and neither did anyone bring it to my attention. I don't know what that interview is. Similarly, I have no knowledge of Miss Peters planting a false story about Colin Albert, as alleged in the affidavit. Had I been aware of such thing, I would have informed Special Prosecutor Mello. Well, how have you not heard about that? One of the first stories I heard when I started covering Karen Reed was John O'Keefe was murdered because Colin Albert sold drugs. I tried to look into as much as I could. I am not a rumor channel. I am what has been filed in court channel. And I found no evidence other than all of these people in different people's chats talking about how Colin had been selling drugs across the street from John O'Keefe. That story is still believed by many of you today, sadly, because that was a plan by Krusty to try and make Aiden less credible by putting Colin Albert into a different drug dealing situation that John O'Keefe had reported on, but that was against, I believe, a 27-year-old man he had talked about dealing drugs across the street. But this was a plan by Krusty Pandies. Krusty Pandies is an abhorrible human being. And before you come at me as a misogynist, no, I don't call all women abhorrent human beings. And I don't believe it because she is a woman that's an abhorrent human being. She is abhorrent in everything she does. She's a wretched, dirty clown. But she's not stupid. Sadly, she's the smartest of a group of dumb people. Krusty Panties succeeded making really a lot of you, and if you're honest about yourself, you believe the Colin Albert drug dealing story, and that's why John O'Keefe was killed, because you saw it online, and nothing online is allowed to be a lie. Other than that, she has the last week gotten a lot of you to believe that Aiden and Lindsay is back banging because she was the one who put that online. And as soon as Krusty says something, sadly, and I love you people, but you are too gullible. You start believing it must be true because Krusty has some special insight. No, she's just a fat hoe sitting at home, poking the right bears and get these stories out. Krusty has planted all of these stories, and police didn't check it out. They didn't care about that. He can't hear certain things because his head is up his tutu much of the times, and it's dark up there. Just a guess. It must hurt. I want to know why John O'Keefe asked if Kevin Albert was going to be there. Maybe he knew him from sports in school. I don't know. So Colin doesn't sell drugs, okay, but if it's not Colin, who have I been buying drugs from the last 2 years? Krusty? I'm betting it's Krusty. Are you buying your drugs from Krusty? It's probably more baby powder than fentanyl in that. Well, think you a little bit about. I know a lot of you people are also out there trying to turn Lindsay into a saint. Aiden hasn't forgotten where he spent 60 days because of her. Listen to him. And there's plenty of crazy going around who, you ladies, get some battery operated toys and stop being horny for Aiden. The guy sadly thinks a little bit too much with the small head sometimes. And we all know crazy is fun. But that's Aiden's kryptonite, is a skinny girl who promises a good time. And Can we get him a chubby chick who can show him what real love is? Yes, I have my skinny crazy index. I need to make a graph of it. You can't say that. Well, I did. As to any person who contacted me and suggested that I should speak to some person who allegedly had information concerning criminal activity by Mr. Carney, including Kate Peter, my response was the same. That person needs to call me directly. As to any person outside law enforcement agencies or the district attorney's office who sent me links to alleged online presentations by the defendant, including Kate Peter, having been extensively trained and retrained in cybersecurity and being aware that I was a potential access point to the office system, I made it a practice not to access such links. If the materials as described seemed of possible interest, I would request information as to where it could be located online and then go to that source directly. I don't believe that in any way, because you had a different relationship with Krusty, most likely, again, based on, and I just said never trust the crust. So don't take it for anything 100%. But you have a relationship where you asked her to look for stuff and send it to you. You opened those emails. You can bullshit as much as you want, but we know this is how the system was. She spent every single minute of Aiden's presentations writing down what she needed to take out. Then she sent you or called you or whatever she did to try and hide the tracks, that you need to go clip this, clip this, clip this. You can't persuade me anywhere else. Can't persuade me any way else. Why do I have to have an opinion on who's guilty and who is innocent? Why do you have an opinion on it? My opinion, stop fucking interesting yourself so much about who is fucking who and who is in whose bedroom. If your life can't exist without who's banging who, you need to fucking get a hobby that's way off the internet. I don't care 2 seconds about who is guilty and who is innocent. Why do you? Why do you care so much about everyone else's life? Earn some kind of, I don't know, interest in anything other than turning over people's pillow casings and see, oh, look who's in bed with who. I don't give a fuck. I know Karen Read will lose about 60% of her support in her civil case because all you fucking idiots have nothing else to do than trying to make Aiden a bad boy. Oh, Aiden is so evil. Good job. Look at Karen Read's fundraiser. Go look at it right now. That's made by all of you people. Well, we didn't like him. He says cunt. Well, so do I. Color me guilty. I don't give a fuck. What you're doing, what all those ratchet 6-string YouTube channels are doing because they want to take Aiden's spot as the special Karen Read, they are killing Karen Read's momentum. Good luck. Good fucking luck trying to bring it back. And stop trying to make everyone take sides. I am a fence-sitting Switzerland in this case. I just want all of you to stop. But all of you fucking idiots want every stream to be about your little shitty problem. I don't give a fuck who is fucking who. I hate what I saw in those videos. They should never have been released. I don't give a fuck if Aiden recorded Karen Read. I give a fuck about who leaked it to the Aussies, because those people were the one who chose that Karen Read didn't need a fundraiser going in a positive way. Those people are the ones who chose that the McAlberts now have more support than Karen Read. Good job, idiots. It never had to come to this. Never. But you wanted it because your drama is so important, because you can't go watch your telenovela. All of your life is, hey, I want to be nosy about everyone else's business. Stop being online if this is how you act. I'm so sorry, but I'm fed up. It's 3 weeks of people telling me you have to hate Aiden, you have to love Aiden. I don't give a fuck about your opinions. If you don't like Aiden, turn off his streams. If you don't like Meredith, block her on the Twitch sweat. If you love Karen Reed, go give her all your money. If you hate Karen Reed, give her none of your money. Stop forcing me to be a part of it. If this is what you want to do, and I see it on Will's shows, I see it on Ray's shows, I see it on Mike's shows, I see it on Jess's show. Everyone wants us to sit and sing Kumbaya and do the same thing. I don't give a fuck about your problems. I don't give a fuck. Go away if this is what you want to do. Go watch it with the 2 channels who keep stoking the flames because they don't have any other things to talk about and they just want to keep it going. And wonder why they want to keep it going. Because they were chosen to be the ones to take down the Karen Reed movement, and they succeeded. Karen Reed was begging on Venmo until someone said, why the hell is she a successful businesswoman with a great lawyer team? Why is she begging on Venmo for support? That's when Alan Jackson put up the fundraiser. She lost the public image, and you are one of those who made them do it. Please go cry now. Go on Twitter and say Baker is evil, and I yelled at you. I don't know. You probably called me misogynist or racist or what the fuck ever else you want. Everyone, I said it in my morning stream, I don't want to do this. I don't fucking want it. I wanted to read this shit and make fun of the idiots at the MSP. But we can't do that now. Everything has to be about your little problem. Aiden is a bad guy. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Aiden has his own YouTube presentation. You can go watch Aiden's YouTube presentations. Where did I say Aiden is totally innocent? Didn't I say Aiden's biggest problem is he likes to bang crazy women? Oh, so he's innocent. No, he's an idiot because he falls for them. That's his kryptonite. Give me a short, chubby woman with a nice set of tits, and I will fall for it no matter how bad she is for me. That's my kryptonite. Not too high, a little chubby, and a nice big pair of tits. And I will believe anything she says. Men are stupid people. We are too dumb to be left on our own. Does it absolve him of any guilt? No. The idiot went into bed with them. Does it allow all of you idiots to sit there and laugh at a man in a mental breakdown? No. Is it okay that you share it because, oh, he recorded Karen Reed? He didn't share Karen Reed. Who shared Karen Reed? Well, if he hadn't recorded, go talk to all the koala bears and all the six stringers. Why are they so into sharing all of Karen Reed's shit? You are costing Karen Reed money. They are costing Karen Reed money. If Karen Reed gets butt fucked in the civil court because she doesn't have the money, I hope you'll go back and thank the koalas, thank the six stringers, because they were the one who made sure Karen Reed lost the public PR battle to the McAlberts, a group of people who are so unlikable that I'm pretty sure if you tested it, COVID would be more popular than they are. But because people fucking want to have online beef, because we can't have any enjoyment in our life if it's not sitting here being miserable. Go fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Now my mother gonna yell at me again. I'm taking a quick
Yeah! Well, now the gavel's calling. Let's get this session started. Hey, folks, grab a seat. It's time to get the scoop. Bakers in session, serving justice with a whoop. From sunny Cali courts to the heartland's dusty halls, we'll spin the yarns of trials big and small. Oh, Baker in session, tales old and brand new. Some make you laugh, some will leave you in a stew. Gavels dropping beats, witnesses take the stand. Join the fun, y'all, across this great land. Hey. Classic papers like OJ or that moonshine bust. Fresh headlines steaming hot. In Baker we trust. Murder in the Midwest, scams down south so sly. Well,
I'm sorry, but I'm tired. I've said it a million times, and I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be angry, and I don't want to do this. There will be enough presentation for all of you who want the drama today. Let's just go back and do what we're here to do: smile, laugh. I'm so smart, I took myself off screen when I tried to put myself down in the corner. Sorry. Thank you, Laura Riker. You're fantastic. You always speak from your heart. Stay true to yourself. I try. I'm such an idiot. And Nikki CCCL live. It needed to be said. I needed to say it. That's for true. And now it'll be clipped and used against me because people want beef in them streets. So be it. I'm gonna log off today, and I'm gonna go watch. I think there's a football match I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna sit in my good chair. I'm gonna eat some pork rinds. I got some with jalapeno flavor. But Fatty, you shouldn't be eating pork rinds. No, but I need it today. I am an emotional eater. And then I'm just gonna sit there and remember, life is good out there when you don't have to live in this constant online crap. In the point of fact, when emails arrive from outside the Commonwealth system, it typically comes from the following warning with the following warning automatically attached. And as I said, I have opened tons of emails with this one attached. The suggestion that the investigation of Mr. Carney was outsourced to Kate Peter and that the MSP told her several weeks before Mr. Carney's arrest that they intended to arrest him is unequivocally false. Only Krusty believes that and says that. Carney's arrest was in conjunction with the execution of a search warrant for electronic devices in his home and car. I was particularly concerned that there be no leak concerning the execution of that warrant, and the information was thus very closely held. Indeed, I understand from Mr. Mello that I did not inform him of the timing of the execution until the morning it was in progress. Oh, I was gifted 2 lots of... Sorry. When I get mad, I get mad. I'm sorry. I don't like to lose my head. So, Beth said, after 14 months, you're the best. Idiot Wind, thank you so much for 10 Broken Baker memberships. I am so sorry that I missed that one. It's because it doesn't get a special color in this one, and I'm screaming off the top of my head, so I missed it. Idiot Wind. I'm so sorry. Here it was. Shot by Christina, Carla Berkowitz, Danny Lysette, Gracie Mom, Indy 2, Chicken Shit, Aiden Higgins' real name. What? Carolina Clemson is no, not that's not the one. Legendary Racing was the one I was reading. Sue was talking about Clemson. Thank you all so much, and welcome to the Yell Club, because that's what I do now. And thank you, Empire, for announcing that. I'm so sorry that I missed it. No, I'll finish my presentation, then I'll go relax right after. Was 2 sets? No, that's only 1 set of. Thank you, Marissa, but there's only 1 set of gifted memberships I see. I'm looking over at on the YouTube presentation thing, but thank you for noticing. While I no longer recall when I informed Mr. Mello, I had no reason to doubt his account. Well, the man can't remember his toes from his face. To buttress the fiction that Kate Peter had insider knowledge of the defendant's arrest, Attorney Betterow quotes from a radio transmission heard from KP. It was the same thing from yesterday. 2 older kids getting all around the same time, but it was 8:30. Then tells the court that on information and belief, KP referred Hellfish Haven gifted 10 membership. That is not. That's funny. That's not on my side screen. Well, I'm sorry, Hellfish, but if it went through, something didn't went through on the other side. Idiot Wind I read, but Hellfish Haven I didn't see. I don't know why that didn't go through. It's not. I'm proving to Marissa right now that it's only 1. But I'm very much appreciative of that as well. Thank you, Empire, and thank you, Idiot Wind. I have Idiot Wind in the. You have like a gifted during the stream. I'm looking at that, but I do. Sorry, there is a. It's not showing it, but I can see it on the top bar. Thank you so much, Hellfish Haven. This is going to be a fucked up stream, but thank you, Hellfish Haven, Idiot Wind. The rest I can see has gifted today is Empire, Take It to Trial, Beth for membership, Nikki, Laura Riker, and Empire. Thank you all so much. I don't know what's wrong. 2 older kids getting on around the same time, but it was 8:30. Then tells the court that on information and belief, KP refers to Miss Peter, and she helped the MSP coordinate Mr. Carney's arrest by monitoring him beforehand. I need to give Hellfish posted. Everything is shit today. Thank you. The current trend in law enforcement is to execute search warrant when the target is outside the residence, thereby reducing both the target's access to weapons and the possibility of evidence destruction, as well as increasing the safety of both the officers and the target. Funny, not if your name is Kelsey Fitzsimmons, then you can just walk all over the crime scene. I did not want to conduct the search while the defendant's children were present, and I also did not want to arrest him in front of his children. Sergeant Keith Pantacellos. This is the explanation. Sergeant Keith Pantacellos was tasked with monitoring the defendant prior to the execution of the warrant and informing us when the defendant's children was safely on the bus. This guy is apparently on the drug task force or something. How do you think they did it? Do you think that they went through the sergeant list and went through by the case or the piece to find someone whose initials would line up with this? I don't know how it is, but a sergeant going by the name KP, when he has the name Pantelos, I would bet they would say, I heard from Pant that it's the same as yesterday. He wouldn't go by the name KP. I don't think I don't believe that this is the real KP. Can the real KP please stand up? Please stand up. They actually, I bet you they went through the list and said who was on duty that day. Oh, this guy, we can kind of claim that's KP. No fucking way they had a drug enforcement officer sitting outside to notice when this mastermind criminal Aiden Carney put his kids on the school bus. No, he is allegedly on the drug task force. Sergeant Pantelos was the KP referenced in the transmission. Mr. Bitterow proffers as evidence of Kate Peters' knowledge of involvement, only that Krusty has multiple times mentioned herself that she's involved in it. Other than that, no one else has ever heard anything about it. About 6 hours elapsed between the defendant's arrest and his arraignment in Stoughton District Court. During his booking, the defendant was accorded his right to make a telephone call, which I believe he made to his mother. Possibly by means of his conversation with his mother or by other means, word of the defendant's arrest soon became public knowledge, and phone calls came into the booking station asking about Carney's status. When I arrived at Stoughton District Court, the halls and immediate areas outside the courthouse appeared to be occupied by Carney's supporters, while the courtroom itself was occupied largely by supporters of Jennifer McCabe and the O'Keefe family. An amount so big they could fit in a shoebox. I did not see Krusty in the courtroom, but after the hearing, she introduced herself to me in a hallway. The email communication from Krusty to me had been retrieved from the office computer system as Special Prosecutor Cosgrove's request, and I understand have been provided to the defense as discovery. I am advised that the links in some of those emails no longer work, assuming that they once did. I have done nothing to alter the links, or neither have I accessed them and downloaded information from them. Good thing that you're not in a church. God would strike you down. As to any online presentation, statements, or electronic communication by Mr. Carney, my concerns has always been to find and verify such information myself. I recognize no obligation or duty to click on every link in every unsolicited piece of information. And this is the crux of it. Unsolicited piece of investigation. Unsolicited. Because what if it was solicited? What if it was a deal that this Krusty Panties, this Sergeant Calgios Pantios was sending you links? Then you wouldn't be opening any unsolicited piece of evidence, right? I hope LG have proof of KP communicating about setting up the arrest and surveilling Aiden. This is why I have stepped back on my negative coverage of the cartoony. I still don't like the people who think that she's just normal crazy now, because in comparison with other crazy, she might not be as crazy. Well, she is. She put him in prison for 60 days. But if she can give him the smoking gun, yes, please, and thank you. There had to be comms between the two, LG and Krusty, in their group chat, with KP gleeful telling them of surveilling Aiden. How did she know about their arrest beforehand? that's the big thing, because she did know. She was clearly informed about it, because she talked about it before it happened, and right after it happened, she was like, I made it happen. And there must be some confusion, and that's why I trust that Bradley and Betterow will get whatever they can from Miss Ratchet. In the motion, the defense complained that they had not been provided with any response by Tully to Miss Peters' question about files in a now dead Dropbox file. There was no response. In the motion, Bitterrose offers as an ostensible fact that, according to Tully, he relied upon information Miss Peter provided him before he edited Mr. Carney's YouTube episodes. In support of the motion, Attorney Bitterrose cites an affidavit of defense paralegal Courtney Haley, Defense Exhibit NN. Apart from any question as to the accuracy of Miss Haley's affidavit, I call the court's attention to the fact that it makes no mention of Miss Peter, or neither does it state that I edited any video. I don't think I have seen this affidavit, so I can't tell you what it is. Although at the end of the day, the important question is the accuracy of information presented to the grand jury, not how the information was gathered. I agree with Mr. Betterow's contention that the Commonwealth had no reason to consult with or seek Ms. Peters' input on whether evidence should be presented to the grand jury. I did not do so. In identifying relevant videos, I relied in significant part on the feedback from victims as to which portion of Carney's episode had the immediate intimidating effects. So the harassment of the people was the rolling rally, and then that the people chose to watch Aiden's presentations, which then harassed them. So Jen McCabe is watching Aiden's presentations and then calling Tully and say, hey, buddy, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 36 seconds. He says, let's all buy a bag of carrots. I think Jen looks a little hungry. I hear horses like that. I feel that's an intimidation. What? They could just not have watched it. So you had the witnesses tell you what parts of Aiden's presentations had the intimidating effect. Why are they watching it if they are so afraid of him? Affidavit of Robert C. Cosgrove. I, Cosgrove, I'm a member of the Massachusetts Bar. I don't care, and he's been a justice. I don't care. On or about March of 2024, I was asked by Morrissey to accept appointment as special prosecutor in connection with pending indictments against the defendant Carney. I agreed to meet with the district attorney and members of his staff to discuss the possibilities. Kenneth Mello had earlier been retained as special prosecutor, and my task was envisioned as assisting him with the legal analysis and motion work. After some discussion, I agreed to accept the position, having been assured that Mello, who was not at the meeting, would be pleased to have my assistance. A few weeks later, I attended a luncheon meeting in Bristol County consisting of Mello and about 7 other people, mostly officers, whom, with the exception of Lieutenant Tully, I had not previously met. As it turned out, that was my first and last face-to-face meeting with Mello in the course of the current proceedings. Who is the 7 other people? Isn't that interesting to know who the 7 other people? Remember, the DA's office has conflicted out of this, and this is why everything is going through Mello and now Cosgrove. So why are these people meeting with 7 officers as a luncheon? Isn't that that's weird? Redacted, I effectively assumed Mello's role by default. I have reviewed what is captioned as It's the same as before. I submit this affidavit in support of the Commonwealth's memorandum and position to Carney's findings. I begin by commenting on selected items in the Bedrow affidavit. I do not purport to be anything close to I do not purport to be anything close to exhaustive, or so failure to comment on anything averred by Mr. Bedrow should not be taken as agreement, nor as preclusion of comment elsewhere or later. The motion states that Ms. McCabe and Ms. Robert attempted to convince the DA that Carney had access to Ms. Reed's defense filings before they were publicly filed. If so, I believe they were correct. I don't know what that. Oh, he's just. I should have had the motion next to it. Sorry. The motion marks one of many statements Mr. Bedrow makes on information or belief. Here, as in other places, that phrase might be more accurately be placed with on pure speculation designed to benefit Mr. Carney. Again, why do you need to use that language? In the motion, Bedrow sneers that D.A. Morrissey, he doesn't sneer, he's writing a motion. D.A. Morrissey ludicrously decreed that Colin Albert did not commit murder. On information and belief, the Karen Reed trial judge apparently shared that ludicrous belief, prohibiting the defense from arguing that Colin Albert could have harmed O'Keefe in the closing arguments because of the total absence of evidence supporting such a theory. On the Bedrow affidavit 108 and elsewhere, Mr. Bedrow seems to advance the novel proposition that anyone subjected to criticism by a purported journalist or perhaps anyone else is thereby disqualified by conflict of interest from taking any action with respect of people's intimidation of a witness. Mr. Bedrow recycles previous made arguments concerning Mr. Mellow's representation as to cell phones seized by Mr. Carney. Mr. Carney didn't seize any cell phones. The relevant issues has been long since argued and decided and are nothing more than a make-weight. At the motion 5259, as part of a discussion of issue relevant to the Reed case, but not to the case before this court, much less the issue in the present motion, Mr. Bedrow mentions that Jennifer McCabe initially misidentified herself to the FBI and lied about. You don't have to put that in quotes. That's a stated fact in the court. Lied about phone calls she made after initial approach. My understanding is that Ms. McCabe was not convinced that the parties who showed up at the door claiming to FBI agents were in fact such agents. That's a lie. They identified herself and she lied about it and claimed she was her sister. Emspire, why was the computer cold? It left its windows open. Thank you for the levity, Emspire. Krusty deep hate for Turtleboy made her a perfect match for a crime boss, DA Meatball, and his goon squad of state police. Exactly. She would do whatever she wanted to do. What was found on Turtleboy's Daily News? Did Jen McCabe apply for the RO before or after the rolling rally? I don't know. I don't know what and how and who and where. I like that chat is having their own little investigative group. Putting that question aside, the court can take note that Judge Bedrow describes McCabe's comments as material lies to the FBI. I observed that when the FBI believes someone has materially lied to them in connection with an investigation, that someone is typically charged. I'm not aware of any such charges being brought against Ms. McCabe. Are you aware of any of the MA perjury charges against Ms. McCabe? Because Ms. McCabe has multiple times changed her story, lying about key elements in the case. So we can't trust Betterow saying that she lied to the FBI because no charges was brought. We know she admitted to lying in the second trial, but we can trust you using her as a witness because she never lies, because no charges have ever been brought by the Massachusetts? Or is it that, just like in Massachusetts, the FBI thinks it's not worth it to press charges against this normal soccer mom to send her away from 2 days? Yeah, they're trying to make Betterow look like an idiot. This is Cosgrove. I had Cosgrove as that doting old grandpa type person, but in reality, he's a nasty piece of work. He's really not. Yeah, he seems like a bad person. Relative to BA 116197, I became aware over the course of my duties that Catherine Kate Peter, it's Krusty, not Kate. Must I fix everything? Was a former employee of Mr. Carney's, that the two had a falling out and were now mutually hostile, that she, like Carney, was an online personality. That she had apparently befriended certain Commonwealth witnesses, notably Lindsay Cartooney. No, that's not the notable one. She notably was friends with the McAlberts before Lindsay Cartooney got into it. And then she used Lindsay Cartooney to set up Aiden Carney. You have all the money, you have all the power. Why must you also lie? And that she had provided some information to the Commonwealth. I thought she had provided no information to the Commonwealth. I have never met Kate Peter. I have never spoken to her on the phone, by mail, or by any other means. Isn't that mentioned somewhere? Prompted by a demand letter of October 8th from Mr. Betterow, on or about October 29th, I texted Mr. Mello in pertinent part requesting copies of any communications with Kate Peters. On or about December 16, Mr. Mello forwarded me the pertinent emails. My attention at that time was largely absorbed by issues involving setting up and effectuating a taint protocol, and that concern was immediately followed by the process of searching for and assembling emails from the named victims and their associates. It was my thought to turn over these emails and the Peter emails more or less simultaneously. I conceded that I did not get the Peter emails to the defense until July 25, because December to July, he was busy, y'all. Although the delay is regrettable, it was always my intent to provide that information. It was always my intent. Yes. And I do not believe the defense was prejudiced hereby. An issue I addressed more fully in the Commonwealth's memorandum of opposition. Yeah, where you forgot to have a position about if you should exclude yourself. After consultation, I decided that the most effective way of finding any email sent by Krusty in Tully's possession, as well as certain other relevant emails, was to do a term search through the NDA computer system using a program identified to me as ATOS. That search, conducted by Office IT personnel, produced roughly 5,000 pages of documents, which were transferred to my laptop. I reviewed each page, making electronic redaction a process that took me 20 working hours. But it took you 6 months to send the videos on. Because term searches invariably generate false positives in the sense of documents that may contain a search term, for example, Peter, when the Peter in the document might be Peter Graves rather than the relevant Kate Peter, this occasioned a number of redactions. In one instance, there was email correspondence with a number of attachments relating to a convict purported to have information on a murder, wholly unrelated to either the Karen Reed case or Carney's. Tully replied to this email, generating a further back and forth, and the nature of such electronic communication meant that each email irrelevant to Carney's case was each time duplicated and thus each time required redaction. You could just remove them if they're not relevant to the case. After I completed this process, I transferred all of the pages on my redacted copy to a thumb drive, called up the document in the thumb drive, and concluded based on my observation that the transfer was successful. I delivered the thumb drive to the defense on July 7th. Sometime within a week, Mr. Betterow emailed me complaining that the majority of the pages on the drive was blank. As explained below, this ostensible problem was quickly remedied, and any implication that the Commonwealth engaged in misrepresentation to the court is untrue. It's always when you make a mistake, right, Mr. Cosgrove? I immediately responded to Betterow's email, stated to him that that was not intentionally. It was. And asked him to return the thumb drive so I could ask Norfolk DA IT to examine it and see if it could determine the source of the problem. I added that I would have the IT department, rather than myself, do another transfer, that I would check to make sure all pages copied, and provide the defense with a replacement thumb drive. Several weeks passed with no comment or response to my request for the original thumb drive, so I cannot speak with any personal knowledge as to the existence of blank pages, although I have no reason to doubt the veracity of what Mr. Betterow represented. But you did up here. This is a way to say he lied. I nevertheless followed through, replaced the thumb drive with a new one, verifiably containing all the pages as acknowledged in the passing in BA 296. If it is true, again, you just said you had no belief that it wasn't. If it is true that Commonwealth never responded to the information Mr. Betterow characterizes in BA 286 as a request for evidence, that is likely because the Commonwealth already responded to what I regard as an essentially identical request from Mr. Badel in my letter of May 8. If there is data missing, that is because it was missing when the phone came into the Commonwealth's possessions, custody, or control, and thus we do not have it. Following service of the Betterow affidavit, I emailed a copy to Attorney Mello and asked him to review it. On or about October 15th, we spoke on the telephone about that and other matters. As of today, Monday, November 24th, the Commonwealth's response is overdue, and Mr. Mello, though through no fault of his own, has been unable to forward me his affidavit. And it still took you a week to file it. Lacking that, the next best thing appears to me to be report on representation I am confident he made during our conversation, which is, of course, hearsay, but one hopes reliable hearsay. No. Per Mr. Mello, and adopting his voice for 26 to 58. Attorney Betterow contends that I, Mello, used the first day of the grand jury proceedings to dirty up Carney by introducing irrelevant and prejudicial evidence relating to an uncharged allegation, that he wiretapped Stephen Scanlon, a topic entirely unrelated to the witness intimidation allegations before the grand jury. It is true that on my first appearance before the grand jury, I presented in good faith the evidence relevant to the defendant's wiretapping of Mr. Scanlon. I considered the case to be in the process of investigation and did not present an indictment at the conclusion of the day for the grand jury's consideration, intending to later present additional evidence. Shortly thereafter, a question. It's the same again. It's different jurisdictions. I considered the possibility of seeking appointment as a special prosecutor in Suffolk County, which would, of course, have required my presenting the case to a Suffolk County grand jury, and put possibility aside, intending to research whether Carney's action could make out a complaint of intimidation of a witness, which under statute could proceed in Norfolk. I turned my immediate attention to charges that did not present a jurisdictional question. Fully occupied with those, I simply ran out of time to resolve the jurisdictional issue and make a further presentation to the then sitting grand jury. Attorney Betterow also suggests that I misled the grand jury by limiting evidence of Carney's intent to Tully's edits of his episodes. I did limit the evidence to intent to what was relevant. The so-called edits were unmodified excerpts exactly showing what Carney himself had broadcast. No rational grand jury could have been misled, other than it was taken out of context. I asked Detective Lieutenant Tully to prepare appropriate clips for the indictment and to play them for the grand jury. The titles he attached to the excerpts were, as I understand it, assigned to reflect the content and so enable Tully to find and access them efficiently when playing the video clips to the grand jury. The titles Tully used was almost uniformly drawn from Carney's actual words. It's just the same we've heard. It is true that Kate Peter provided certain information concerning Carney to the Commonwealth. At this time, I was aware of her as a rival blogger of Carney's, who believes she had been ill-treated by him, a status which hardly made her unique. What do you mean by that? I regarded Peter as a possible source of information, just as I regarded various others. She did not, in any sense, run, direct, or control the investigation into Carney's activities. I had no knowledge of her federal civil suit against Carney years earlier, or neither was I aware that of her subsequent alleged role in May 28, 2023, feeding Carney false information with respect to Colin Albert, as described in Mr. Beddoes' affidavit. So you used a informant that you didn't verify. I did not follow Peter's social media presentations, neither did I view each and every one of Carney's numerous social media offerings. In fact, the most common means by which Carney's behavior came to my and the MSP's attention was through complaints from alleged victims, which rendered much of the information provided by Ms. Peters redundant. So she did provide you with information that you did open so you could see what she did. Technical question, and I don't know. If, for instance, some of these witness intimidationings happened on Sex Cult, which is a paid for members only YouTube presentation, and they then come back and say, hey, we were intimidated by the word said on Sex Club yesterday. Can you say you chose to be intimidated? It's kind of like if I go to the Smex dungeon, can I complain the next day that I have a red bot after I paid the mistress to give me a red bot? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm wondering. Is they sort out the intimidation? So of course you can't sit and tell. I'm gonna unalive some people. You can't sit and say that, but if these people are so deadly afraid of Aiden, why are they watching every time he streams, and then they clip it out and say, oh, look, he called us assholes again? That's a harassment. But don't share that stuff. It will get clipped. Oh, my bump pedaling. By the way, my first 3D print of the Baker Batty might be starting today. And someone sent me where I might be able to buy them in. It's going to be in metal. It's not going to be in a 3 style, but then I might be able to sell them in the Americas. So you can get a good Baker bottom paddling, so you can stop annoying Baker online and just be happy because you got a little slap on the butts. What sentence name changed font? That's kind of funny. They did it when he took the voice of Mr. Mello. That's when they changed the font. This is the affidavit of Kenneth Mello, which is pure hearsay. But that's when he chose to change the font. It's Mello's affidavit in Cosgrove's affidavit. But I'm just wondering, again, if you buy a product from someone you know says bad stuff, can you then come and complain afterwards that he does say bad stuff? Oh, spank me. Oh my. Clip that. Krusty Panties probably gave them the footage of Smex Cult. That's what I'm believing. Krusty was, in some fashion, hired by the McAlberts to do nothing else than just do Turtleboy 24/7. I wish someone would do Baker 24/7, but no, I don't. I'm 27 years old. I couldn't do it that long. But I think she was sitting there, and then she cut everything out and she sent it and said, hey, Jen, you have to respond to this. Say at 2:22, he says, Jen looks like her mom was raped by Mr. Ed. And Brian, you have to send this because at 1:35 he says, I haven't seen a gay romance this well made since Brokeback Mountain as at the waterfall bar with the briars. And then they send it on to the police. I believe this is, and I have no proof of it. It's pure speculation, but so is most of this affidavit. It is disturbing that Jen McCabe was actually, from credible suggestions, actually stalking Aiden. That's pure speculation so far. We haven't seen the evidence, but I've also heard Aiden mentioning that he might have very credible information that Jennifer McCabe has stalked him. Again, if you're stalking someone, are you afraid of them? That's the problem. I don't know who Diane Peel is. Baker's baddies for Christmas. That's what every girl wants. 2 buffaloes humping at the waterfall. I call it the rhino sex dance. I don't know if you've heard about it. Google is out there. And if you Google a picture of Jen McCabe and said, what would the most likely scenario be where someone could look this much like a horse, but still be human? It came up with Mr. Ed was in Massachusetts around that time. Maybe he raped her mom. And then I saw a picture of Mr. Ed, which was a horse that they put peanut butter on the gums of it so it will do this. And people thought it talked. That's animal cruelty. Miss Peters' primary contribution to the investigation was to provide contact information related to Natalie the German, an early go-between of Carney and Karen Reed. Where did Krusty get this information from? How does Krusty, who is a fat, lazy, good-for-nothing bum, how can she get information that no one else can get? Natalie the German was then interviewed by the Commonwealth, and a recording of that interview was presented to the grand jury. Peters' other primary contributions consist of 1, providing purported recordings by Carney of a phone conversation with Scanlon. But as previously noted, the Commonwealth never procured an indictment based on that conduct, and 2, providing purported recordings of a conversation between Carney and Lindsay Gattani. But I'm advised that the resulting indictment has been null prost. No, he's not, because this is you writing this. How is Krusty getting this? I had a breakdown about an hour ago because I got really mad about all of these people who demands I have certain positions. Because all of that is based on someone leaked something. How does Krusty Panties have access to recordings with Aiden Carney? Because those recordings must be made by Aiden, right? The wiretapping from the Scanlon guy. How does Krusty have access to Aiden's materials? Is that normal? Is that something you do in America if you have a lifelong enemy like Aiden and Krusty? It's like Lex Luthor and Superman. Will you just share your potential criminal evidence with them? I had something happen to me before. Some chick left a letter note at my girlfriend's wife's old apartment. I don't know what. I had a buddy of mine. His girlfriend showed up at his wife's door. That wasn't a fun night. But I just find it miraculously that these police officers, they can just call Krusty, who is too lazy to get a job, who's living off the government teat, but at the same time is a master hacker who has access to all relevant information in every case. That's just my problem. I don't believe Meredith had anything to do with this. This is from 2023. She wasn't in the picture at that point. So it can't be from her. Has she obtained it legally? Because if she got it from Lindsay Gattani, then it was Lindsay Gattani wiretapping Aiden. Then it wasn't Aiden wiretapping Lindsay Gattani. I don't know. I'm just asking questions and not getting answers. The information as to the execution of the search warrant at Mr. Carney's home was closely held by Detective Tully, who notified me on the same morning he intended to proceed. I was somewhat dismayed because I knew that Carney's arrest would require me to get over from Fall River to his arraignment in Stoughton District Court. I dressed appropriately. Ladies, when you send me those pictures in the DMs, dress unappropriately. Wow. Don't do that. It's jokes. You know that. Gathered such papers as I thought necessary and called an investigator and asked him to drive me, which he did. I did not advise Kate Peter or anyone else of Mr. Carney's pending arraignment. When I arrived at Stoughton District Court, I was sitting for a time in the lot with my investigator in his truck. A number of Carney supporters were outside the courthouse. We were approached by a blogger named Tom DeRosier, I don't know, CPU, who I believe has or had an online presence as Tommy CPU and whom I regarded as a supporter of Karen Reed and Carney. Tom immediately began a conversation, but I noticed he was recording, advised him that he did not have my permission to record and that he was violating the wiretap statute. He then left. The contention that I outsourced investigative work to Ms. Peters, discussed strategy with her, and was aware that she edited Mr. Carney's content with her own editorial slant and bias is utterly false. Except, as previously noted, I relied on Tully's to independently locate each and every video excerpt introduced before the grand jury in Carney's own internet presentations, all of which was introduced without modifications. After the defense complained that certain links in some of the emails from Ms. Peters to me provided in discovery were not active, Cosgrove asked me to revisit the emails I had forwarded him for that purpose and check to see whether those links could be accessed from my computer. I did, and they could not. Mr. Cosgrove also asked me to check to see if I had downloaded any of the material ones theoretically accessible by link, in that event that I might have a copy of such material on my hard drive. I checked, and I do not. To the best of my knowledge, understanding, recollection, and belief, any of the Peter links I may have chosen to and being able to access were to materials posted online by Mr. Carney himself and thus remain within the defendant's knowledge, custody, and control. Moreover, with the above noted exceptions consisting of a recording which ultimately I did not ask the grand jury to return an indictment on, and a recording that generated an indictment but was dismissed by the Commonwealth as one of the cartoony indictments, all of the recordings or excerpts thereof was obtained by Tully directly from the internet and have long since been provided to the defense by either myself, Tully, or Cosgrove. In the event Mr. Mello is able to complete his affidavit and I secure it in time for consideration by the court, I reserve any rights this court may afford me to move to strike 2658 and submit that affidavit into place. Sworn the 24th day of November 2025 under the pains of perjury. And then it wasn't filed till 2 days later. Because why do that? Hey, money. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Yes. I suspect Krusty must have higher level tech skills and access as Turtleboy hired her. I don't know. I didn't know any of these people until I watched the first hearing in the Karen Reed case, and someone said, "That's Turtleboy." And I said, "Who?" The guy in the free Karen Reed t-shirt, I believe he had on that day, or a pink t-shirt. And I said, I don't know who that is. And people said, well, he's a blogger who is kind of the one who started all of this. I said, oh, that's nice. And then people like today started, well, I don't like him, he's nasty. And I said, well, I've heard that some people don't like him. I don't know him, I have no opinions. And since I found out that Aiden is he's a funny asshole, and I like him a lot. He does have the same problem I have. We do attend to like the cray craze a little bit too much, maybe. No, that was Cosgrove's signature on the entire. He did say, "I am lending my voice to Mellow," so he didn't try to say it was Mellow's. Show us the hours he logged watching them. Posting the email is spoilation, we know. I believe from comms she has a big mouth. I don't know what that's all about. Why is it when you say Krusty Panties, I think of Wallace and Gromit, the wrong trousers? I never watched Wallace and Gromit, so I don't know what that is to do with anything. I'm sorry. Because I don't know. That's not claymation isn't my thing. But again, we didn't do anything, and Krusty had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was this special order. All of a sudden, Sergeant, who did all the bad things, and it had nothing to do with Krusty and a small Brooklyn Bridge. I'm gonna end this because I lost my mind. I'm sorry when I do it, but I have a breaking point as anyone else. I wish all of this shit would go away. The only people it's hurting are the people's involved in it. And if you really want to fight for Karen Reed's civil cause, you should stop trying to divide and conquer, because dividing will happen, conquering will not happen. Look at the numbers. You six stringers, you're losing it. And sadly, you are going to burn the shit down on the way out. I'm Switzerland. I don't care. As long as I'm not sleeping with them, not my problem. You shouldn't have a big problem about it. That was a big 5-hour stream yesterday. I predicted in my morning stream that's going to be either one of the six stringers are going to put Meredith on today, or she's going to do a Spaces, which is going to turn into a Hellfest. And the next 14 days is going to be funny as fuck because everyone's going to be fighting and I'm going to lose my mind. I don't want to do that. So tomorrow at 10 Eastern, I am going to set up a stream with the wonderful Carmen, maybe my bro Valhalla, brother from another mother, the Goat Man himself, and the wonderful alternate juror, where we're going to review the safety gear that you wonderful people helped contribute to so she could buy and be safe at her work as a prison guard in Texas, because this is the community I want to be a part of. The community where we show up, we have fun, we laugh, we hang out together, we help people, we raise awareness, and you wonderful people came together and raised $2,000 so we can send Carmen to her work a little safer than what the state wants her to be. And we can give her mom peace of mind. This is the community I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of the community when someone invites me on a screen, we're going to laugh our ass off over twisted tragedies and her constant begging. I want to sit here and be the naughty uncle asking for titlet pics with a gleam in the eye so people know it's a joke. I want to tell you stupid things about Denmark and educate you why or Arizona is not a real place and Australia doesn't exist because of the shell size of the celestial turtle. That's what I want to do. In reality, that's also what you want. You like the drama. The drama is fun, but it's been 2 months now. 2 months of constant shitting on each other. Or, well, not shitting on each other, mostly shitting on one person. And it's not healthy. Innocent people is getting dragged into this. Olivia Lambo, why did she have to be a problem of it? Internet beef will happen. Creators will fight each other because, hey, I want to be the biggest creator. I want to make the monies. But women are being dragged into it just because they might have made a little sucky or danced too close to someone, or maybe just had a photo all of a sudden blasted as the next crazy bitch he was fucking. It doesn't have to be like that. What it has to be like is you go follow who you follow. You turn off the streams you don't like. And if you get mad at someone, you don't have to make everyone else mad at the same person. It's okay you dislike them. And if I like someone, I don't have to force you to watch them. Mspire, for instance, says, I don't watch Aiden Carney. I don't watch much Aiden Carney because I'm sleeping. That MF never thinks about me when he makes his presentations. He starts them at 3 a.m. my time. Grown-ups don't have to act like this. I know it's fun. I know all of that bitching on the twat. I don't think any of those people are in here anyway. Where they, oh, you're my bestie. I love you forever. It's kind of like when both of you wanted the quarterback and then you said, oh, yeah, you should be with my girl. She's so cute. We don't know how she got the yeast infection, but she's really pretty. Yeah, that was fun in high school. But we are all older now. I'm 27. You're 23. You don't need to be like this. You don't need to feed off the drama. As I told people this morning, stay away from it. Just go out and say, well, I didn't like seeing a man in the worst states of his life, on the floor, in a mental breakdown. That's why I don't watch the videos. That's why I got mad at the people who are reposting the videos to defend Aiden. Stop doing that as well. Stop spreading all of this shit. And if you dislike the other side, block them, mute them. You don't have to go into their DMs or go and write post after post, tagging them in it so you can start a fight. I know you want to do it because you want to help, but in the end, it's just more drama. I'm going to leave you with this. Probably, this is going to be the best thing you have heard all day, and I think it'll encapsulate how we should all act and stay. And I heard this from a very wise man.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
I know English is your second language, but you don't word
It's
your
my
questions
third,
carefully.
but I'm still better at it than you. You are
The most important people in this case